being innovative, being thoughtful, being reliable. It's all a part of everything we do. But most importantly, to be able to do that well, we need to understand our fundamental purpose. What is our purpose as a leader? And here's what it is. The purpose of a leader is to engage others in committing their energies and expertise to achieve the shared mission and goals of the organizations. So as a leader, our role is to get our frontline troops aligned behind that purpose. That's what we're about. So how do we do that even more effectively? Well, here's a few thoughts for you. Number one, here is one of the most important insights you can have as a leader. Right? Leadership is not about what we learn to do to others. Leadership is about what we learn to be for others. It's a very big distinction. Right? So it's about how do we become the kind of person others want to follow. How do we become that? Well, there are core elements to leadership, some real core elements. And let me throw a few of them your way for you to consider. Number one, when you think of all great relationships, the relationships that you would say are rock solid in your mind, whether they're professional or personal relationships, and I'll give you the foundation of that relationship and see if you agree with me. The foundation of any great relationship is trust. Would you agree? It's trust. Trust is the key to great relationship. So obviously, therefore, in leadership, in the core element, the first core element for us is to be a trust builder. That we have to build trust with our people. That's the first thing that we need to do because that makes everything possible. But we have to understand that people cannot see inside of us. They cannot see what we intend. What they do is they observe every day what we do. Right? And so therefore, trust is built by our actions. So I judge you by your actions. I trust you because of your action. Now, interestingly enough, there are 4 core elements to trust. Here's the first one. The first one is called being straightforward. Did I speak my truth? Now, it's not easy delivering the truth often. And I'm not talking about being undiplomatic, or I'm not talking about being insensitive, but it's very important as a leader that when you've spoken to someone, you have told your truth. So that when they walk away from you, they may not like what you have said, but they know they can trust what you have said. The second element of trust is being open. It's a kind of a cousin to being straightforward. But that's about, did I speak up? When I had the opportunity to speak up, did I speak up? There are no secrets in great teams. Everyone is on the same page. Everyone has the information, right? Openness, very important to building trust. The third one is acceptance. Every human being wants to be accepted. And therefore, as a leader, I know how to separate the person from the task. That person knows that he's okay with me, but I do need to talk to you about your performance. Right? I do need to talk to you about your performance. And the final one is reliability. Do I do what I promised? Do I do what I promised? You can let me down once, you can let me down twice, but it gets to be 3 times I say, you know, he or she is a very nice person, but I don't trust that they'll follow through. So why is this area of trust so critical? Because it influences every other core element of leadership. So let's go back to that. So after trust, what comes next? Well, what comes next is the very reason you are hired to be a leader, and that is that of being a problem solver. You are a leader because you are a problem solver, or that is what you have been mandated with. Right? But what does that mean? That means taking initiative. That means anticipating a problem that may occur. That's what that means. but problem solving is a part of who you are and what you are about. But we need to understand when we're then endeavoring to implement that through our people, what we're touching on with our people. And you see, our actions, any of our actions and those of our people are kind of like the tip of an iceberg. There's a lot of things motivating them from within. And what's motivating actions is our thoughts and our feelings, the way that we think and the way that we feel. And therefore, if trust isn't present, then I don't know whether I feel that good about you. And if I don't feel that good about you, how can I be open with you and share the information that you're looking for? So trust, again, we have to go back. That allows me to influence you because it creates the positive thoughts and feelings that I need as a part of my team. And then deeper down, we see our third core element of being a change agent. So no matter what we are and how we need to respond to change, we have to be an agent of change. Well, not only being an agent of change do I mean I have to then influence my people, but I have to understand why I might resist change, right? And the reason being is this: deeper down is our values, the things that we value. Now, many of you in the room, are here, and you were 7 or 8 years ago, with 2 different airlines who have now come together. And you know what has happened over the 7 or 8 years. I've had the privilege of working with you all as that all has come together, not you all, but many of you, as this has come together. And it's been challenging because each group valued the way they operated. And it took a while for these negotiations to take place, and then for people to say, they did do that better than we did. And oh yeah, and they did that better than we did. So let's see if we can put some of these things together because it's better for Delta, the one company that we're a part of. But our values are really important to us, and we need to know that's what we're endeavoring to influence. But finally, what drives it all? Well, what drives it all is this, is that every human being is motivated to meet their fundamental needs. We're all looking to meet our needs. And so deep down in the iceberg is everyone's needs. So as a leader, I ask you, do you know your people's needs? Do you take the time to think about your people's needs or to even ask them? Do you spend time on an individual basis? Do you know the people who really need a lot of attention? And I'm not meaning attention because they're not performing well, but they just like for you to recognize them often. Do you know the people who don't need it that much, but when they do something well, they do want to know that? Do you know anything about them personally that shows them that you care? What do you know about them in that regard? And what effort can we put forward to get to know them that much better, right? Because when we do that, we develop our own leadership brand that helps create the influence that we need. See, you can't change anybody. You can only influence them. And here's what I'm going to suggest to you. If you follow that logic, when a person's needs are being met, they are more responsive to change and will shift their values. Why? Because they feel good about what is happening. And therefore, they collaborate and they cooperate as opposed to complying. It's a big, big difference. So let's just talk, therefore, for a moment then about how do you pull all of this together? How do you pull it together? Well, now I'm going to give you a little magic. I'm going to give you a little magic. And that magic is called the power of purpose. It's what happens when you have a purpose and you are committed to that purpose. One of another favorite quotes that I have by Patanjali is this: when you are inspired by some great purpose, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Faculties and talents come alive. You discover that you are a greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be.